In election news, another candidate has thrown in their name for North Dakota's at-large U.S. House seat. Businessman and former Republican state lawmaker Tom Campbell announcing on social media today he would run for the seat. He represented District 19 in the state Senate for 6 years and is one of the co-founders of Campbell Farms, which grows potatoes in Grafton and Big Lake, Minnesota. Campbell joins Rick Becker for the Republicans and Trygve Hammer for the Democrats as the candidates for that seat. Current Representative Kelly Armstrong announcing earlier this week he'd be running for governor after Governor Burgum announced he would not seek re-election. We have reaction to Campbell's announcement from both Becker and Hammer in this story on our website.